cannibalism, a word that sends chills down the spine. And while many believe it belongs to distant history, buried in folklore and myth, the Philippines holds stories that prove otherwise. In the 19th century, French explorer Paul de la Gironnière wrote in his best-selling travelogue about his time in the northern mountain provinces. He claimed that the Tinguians of Abra, an ethnic group in the Cordillera, once held what he called brain feasts. After battles, they allegedly took the heads of enemies, pounding their brains to make wine. Whether these accounts were exaggerated or misunderstood remains debated among scholars. But one thing is certain. Centuries later, disturbing reports of cannibalism would resurface. And this time, it was no myth. In 2014, in the quiet town of Ampatuan, Maguindanao, 3 brothers carried out one of the most horrifying crimes the Philippines had ever seen. A crime so grotesque it turned neighbors into witnesses of terror, and a mother into her son's victim. Her name was Amil. 56 years old, a mother, a member of the small farming community of Purok Nabadtog, Barangay Kamasi. But in February 2014, Akrima was found lifeless in her own home. Her body was mutilated, her eyes were missing, her organs gone, and her blood drained. Neighbors had grown uneasy in the days leading up to the discovery. They had heard shouting and what sounded like roughhousing inside the Amil household. Then came the screams, piercing, unrelenting, echoing for days. When locals finally alerted the authorities, investigators walked into a scene of pure horror. Akrima's body lay butchered, bound, and disfigured. Her throat had been slashed, her innards ripped out. And most chilling of all, reports claimed her own sons had eaten parts of her raw flesh. Witnesses even recalled how blood had been sucked directly from her wounds. One account from a family member confirmed they sipped the blood, they even chewed on pieces of her flesh. The perpetrators were her own children, Dante Amil, aged 35, Paroy Amil, aged 21, Ibrahim Amil, aged 18. The 3 brothers eventually surrendered to barangay officials just hours after the killing. But what drove them to commit such a monstrous act? The Amil brothers claimed innocence. They insisted they had not murdered their mother. Instead, they said they were trying to cure her. They believed she had been possessed by evil spirits, and that ritual burning and consumption of her body would drive the illness away. Investigators, horrified by the scene, searched for answers. Neighbors suggested that the siblings may have been under the influence of drugs when they hogtied their mother and attacked her with machetes. Authorities considered the possibility. But others in the community pointed to something darker, an old folklore. Locals whispered that the Amil family came from a cursed ancestry, tied to stories of ghouls. Some even believed the brothers had been possessed. Mblawa, a municipal councillor and relative to many community leaders, rejected this superstition. For me, being a Muslim, that is superstition. I don't believe in that. Still, town elders remained convinced. Evil spirits had taken hold of the brothers. A local shaman was even brought in to conduct rituals. Police, however, focused on more earthly causes such as mental illness and drug use. They confirmed the family had a history of mental health disorders. Drug tests were ordered. Yet, the brothers clung to their claim. They had not killed their mother, but had ritually burned her in a desperate attempt to heal her. When found, Akrima's body bore both burn marks and bruises. To authorities, it was a chilling sign of torture, ritual, and madness intertwined. As the investigation unfolded, attention turned to the Amil clan itself. The suspects were linked to a family in Barangay Dasikil, a place known in old folklore as a haven of ghouls. The trial highlighted the disturbing blend of superstition, mental illness, and possible substance abuse that had driven the brothers to commit the unimaginable. What truly happened in that small home in Ampatuan may never be fully understood. Were the brothers acting under the haze of drugs? Were they gripped by psychosis? Or were they trapped in ancient fears of spirits and curses, carrying out a ritual they believed would save their mother's life? The answers remain clouded, but what endures is the horror, the story of 3 sons, a brutal killing, and a community left haunted by the question, how could children turn against the very woman who gave them life? Cannibalism may seem like a relic of the past, something hidden in folklore, myth, and the darkest chapters of human history. But the case of the Amil brothers proves that sometimes the most terrifying legends can come alive in the present.